As you know, the Philadelphia Eagles are set to face the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 57 next week, not this week. So we're going to look at some early preview factors that could determine Kansas City versus the Eagles. What's up? It's your boy Cintron. Come back to another reaction / news / analysis video. And it's early Super Bowl material stuff. We're going to be looking at this and a mix of other things, and plus some around the league. So let's get into it. Jeffrey Chadiha has his article analyzing an pre matchup of 6 factors that could determine the Chiefs versus the Eagles. So let's scroll down and look at some of this shit. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes needs to keep blowing us away. Fact or fiction? Fact, but Mahomes had 3 cracks at the Bengals and he finally solved them, so he'll probably be just fine. Wrong. There's the caveat there. The Eagles have the top pass rush defense in the league. Not just remaining in the playoffs, but it was number 1 by the end of the season. And throughout majority of the season as well. Yeah, Patty Mahomes is not going to crack that attack, and it's going to be pivotal. He faced a tough Bengals defense, but they're nothing on the back end like the Eagles are, and being able to stop the passing offense. Yes, Patty Mahomes has a bevy of weapons at his disposal, but they'll be able to lock them down. I like that the D coordinator Jonathan Gannon switched up his defensive scheme. Like I thought he was holding back on plays, like he thought he was, or I should say, like I thought he would do in the playoffs. And they've been aggressive, and they've in sync with that pass rush, gotten after the quarterback. But I think this gives Mahomes the best challenge all year that he's had to face and he's going to face, with 2 lockdown corners and then a myriad of options in the at the safety position and at slot corner that are going to challenge those wide receivers. And we're going to look at who's going to be playing actually. So number 2, that's a little bit later though. Jalen Hurts needs to make history. Fact or fiction? Fiction. We saw last week against the Niners' top run defense that Jalen cracked that code and was able to beat them at what was supposed to be, here's my trump card. Hey, top rushing defense in the league, and yes, it wasn't a pretty average or a great average, 3.7, 44 carries, 148 yards. But 4 touchdowns scored, and on touchdown plays as well as some key plays, they severely misled that defense. And who did they mislead? Their all-world linebacker, Fred Warner, Federico Warner. Had him out there on skates. Had him out there looking like the lady meme with the calculations and configurations she's trying to assemble in her head. Damn, RPO. So he was. Damn, come on, man. Filming a video here. Stop acting up, buddy. Get somebody else. He was on skates. He didn't know whether it was running past, and he guessed wrong. He didn't know where it was going. He was out of position on a lot of those scoring plays, and that's just what this offense does to a defense. Even if your best weapons, it takes your best weapons and makes them null and void, or plays that against you. Because we saw in the second quarter they came out and ran some different formations, trips, but like a unbalanced stack line to the side where they had the least amount of defenders, and they just gave you some eye candy there to bait you with the trips, making you focus on that side of the formation because it could possibly be that they're going to pass to that side, and they could have if that was where the defense was weak at, but they went to the side that was actually the weak spot, had the least amount of people lined up. It was just a mismatch. The numbers game wasn't there. It was actually in the Eagles' favor and negative for the 49ers, and they ran to that side. So they ran away from the team's strong point and misled those guys to be focused in that area or to think that the action was going to that side. So I mean, it's just beautiful scheming, and Jalen. I mean, he isn't doing that, but he is in charge of running it there, running that point on the field, in the field general, and when he's making that decision, he's reading those defenders. He's actually making a decision based off of you, which makes it hard on you because it's not predetermined, and that means you have to think. You have to make a split decision. And I mean that's tough because as good as your instincts are, you have to make a decision in real time, and it's similar to fight or flight. You can be misled. You can be led astray, and what are you supposed to do? I mean, that just it's based on your reaction, and then you have to sift through so much garbage, so much information, so much misinformation. It's like in the current internet era, to get a right answer, you got to research it doubly. So, and then fact check, and then fact check the websites that you got it from, and then cite other sources, and then check 3 or 4 or 5, 6 websites to make sure that the information you got is verifiable. That's what this offense does to a defender's mind, and we fry that motherfucker. So, yeah, he doesn't have to, and that balance. They were already the best defense we're going to face. What are we going to do to that 49ers defense? I mean, not the 49ers. We already did it to them. I'm going to Total Recall here with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nice call back there. But to that Chiefs defense, they're not on the level of the Eagles in the secondary nor at the linebacking core. D-line, Chris Jones and George Carlo and Frank Clark make for some nice side pieces, but just not good enough. All right, let's get to number 3. The Eagles pass rush. I got some rust in saying that. The Eagles pass rush must dominate. Fact or fiction? Fact. Caveat being, though, I mean, when have they not? I feel like, stepped it up even more in the playoffs. Their pass rate, pressure percentage rate has been up through the roof. And the actual top-rated player in the playoffs, according to PFF, has been Hassan Reddick with a 93 overall grade. Just freaking ridiculous. He just has upped his game to a whole nother level. A whole new world. So, I mean, that goes without saying. And I think they'll be able to take advantage of Orlando Brown and Andrew Wiley. They've been inconsistent, and that's just a recipe for disaster. We faced some tough tackles last week, and Mike McGlinchey, think top 10 to top 15 tackle, but he still could be had. And most pressures came off of that side. It wasn't always his fault because they're doing dumb things like scheming up a tight end to block Hassan Reddick, which is just dumb. But, that's Kyle Shanahan. At you, Kyle! And, yeah, I mean, what's Trent Williams, the silverback, the all-pro, all-world left tackle for the 49ers, considered to be the best in the game. He got pressured on his side, too. Brandon Graham bull rushed that man. And, I mean, it's just, as good as you are, you still going to give up some. Albeit, our tackles, because we have such a unit. We play as a unit as well. That's just whole nother level. A cut above the league, quite literally. And that was supposedly the second best O-line in the league, the 49ers, and they still can be had at spots. But I don't know where the Chiefs rank. Even let's just say they're even just top 5, but you can do some things there. I mean, this Eagles pass rush is just it's a whole nother beast, man. The difference between number 1 and number 2 is already huge, and then the drop off from number 2 from Dallas to the rest of the league is another drop off. So how did the Chiefs even begin to compete? Like Pat Mahomes, one thing he better be getting the ball out of his hands 2.5 seconds or under 3 seconds. But then it's got to be going to those receivers, and the corner's going to be there locked down. So thus far, a ridiculous amount of passing yards not allowed this week and 2 weeks ago. So tough sledding, tough. So if they can't pressure Mahomes, they won't win this game. Come on now. And he's compromised as well. Yeah, he won't be 100%. He won't be as bad as he was this past week, but he won't be 100%. So it's gonna be a battle out there. Number 4, the Chiefs' defense must continue to deliver. Fact or fiction? Fact. But I don't see how they continue, they get it done. This offense, like I said, in that first point, they're just a cut above, and they make you think. And that's the worst thing you could be doing out there as a defender. It's the opposite of what you want to do. Play fast and, play disciplined, play under control. Like, they make you make some tough decisions, tough reads, like, to read on that zone read. Who has the ball? Is Jalen keeping it? Is he giving it to the running back? Is he pulling it back to run? Is he pulling it back to pass? Like, there's so many options, wrinkles, caveats to that offense. The offensive look that they're giving you. And like I said, we got a rookie defender here. Like, I mean, as mature as you are, and even if you're getting better, like, you're still a rookie. You can be taken advantage of. And they have rookie starters in that secondary. First-year cornerbacks, Jalen Watson, Joshua Wilson, and also Ladarius Sneed, who's coming off a concussion, who I believe will play. But, like, that's a young secondary. So, I mean, those voracious route runners out there, A.J. Brown, who's physical as well, and Devontae Smith, who can, catch, 50-50 balls, even at his with his wiry frame and at his size and his weight. I mean, I just trying to think, man. Like, hey, Chris Jones, like, he can be a bit of a chess piece moving around the line, but still, he poking and prodding. That's what the sack leader for the NFL tried to do last week, Joey Bosa. Nick Bosa. Joey Bosa is the Chargers, the brother. But yeah, he found no success anywhere he tried to go. Chris Jones, I think he's better than Bosa. But that being said, I still think they shut him down, or they nullify and neutrify. New words here. They neutralize him for the majority of the game to make him a non-factor. Because, like, we saw another all-pro defensive tackle in the Giants, number 97 from Clemson, the D tackle from Clemson. We shut him out. So, I mean, like, if you have one guy in complementary pieces, you're going to need several all-pro, I would say several Pro Bowl caliber guys on that line to bust through. Can't just be one guy. He's going to get taken out of the equation. And we run right at you, your strengths. And also, people said the same thing about the 49ers last week. You have to, you can't run right at them. What do we do? It wasn't direct. You're not going to be that stupid to charge into a hornet's nest, but you scheme up ways to go right at the opponent's supposed strength, because you're not being You're taking them out by not avoiding the problem. by going right at it. We did the same thing with Michael Parsons, ran right at him, you know. And what's he gonna do? He got tired, became a non-factor, and then the panic set in. He wasn't even, his regular self, his normal self. He's out of his comfort zone. You have him right where you want him. So I mean, that's something that the Eagles have expertly done several times this season. So that defense, they're gonna be on their heels, trying to process run pass, and dealing with those pass catchers, dealing with our backs, dealing with a hell of a tight end in Dallas Goedert. They're going to have their hands full on defense. And I just don't see them getting it done. All right, number 5. The Eagles' running game can't slow down. Fact or fiction? Fact. But, like I said, who's going to slow them down? We just came and ran on, not pretty, not at a beautiful clip rate, but effectively on the number 1 defense in the league. So, yeah, they're ranked number 8. But we've eclipsed the 200-yard mark 5 times and rushed for at least 135 yards 12 times this season. So that just speaks to the consistency. And what do we do when we rush the ball with regularity and control the game through that flow? Like you said, it just, like I just said, it controls the game and it keeps Patty Mahomes off the field, and just as importantly, gives him less cracks at the apple and by way of possessions, and that could affect the game tremendously. Limit his number of possessions. Let's just say cut it down from 2 to 3 to 4 times the normal amount that he has. That puts a tremendous amount of pressure on them to perform out there when they do have the ball. And like I said, I like our defense's chances against them. I think they just match up well all across the board. Going to employ some looks that challenge their depth at wide receiver, because they have great depth, but we still don't even know if those receivers are going to show up to the game. I know one of them is going to be most likely out. We'll see though. But yeah, saying that Nick Sirianni wants to desperately win this matchup, the probability that he's going to win this matchup is pretty high. Like I said, the Chiefs, it's not like they're running the mill, but they aren't special. Like, I believe the 49ers defense is special. That was any other defense, they horribly lose that game. It gets out of hand even worse than that last week. And that was against the number 1 defense. What are we going to do to the Chiefs? Can't wait to find out. And number 6, the last one here. The Chiefs receivers need to be healthy. Fact or fiction? This is a motherfucking fact. Man. They suffered a number of injuries last week. Kadarius Toney went down with an ankle. Mecole Hardman went down with a pelvic injury. He re-aggravated it. He's unlikely to play in the game in the Super Bowl, so we'll see. Juju Smith-Schuster sustained a knee injury. Marcus Valdez-Scantling was the only healthy receivers in the game, and Sky Moore was a rookie. So I'm like, I don't know about his production. He has the speed, but I don't trust him to show up in big moments, and this being the biggest one in his career. With him having, he was regularly in the rotation. I think he's maybe been the 4th or 5th option. So, counting on him. And then if you have to turn to him to count on him when he wasn't originally a huge part of the game plan, ouch. Kadarius Toney just came in. They're still working with him. He's still working out the kinks with that offense. Yeah, he has a scheduled number of plays, but he's not the focus right now. Mecole Hardman is supposed to be, a big part of the offense, but he, unfortunately has been hurt. Juju Smith-Schuster, possession receiver, I'm not really scared of him. I would say the biggest challenge for me, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, and the person that I'm not mentioning is Kelsey. He'll be healthy, but I think they focus in on Kelsey and then single everybody else up. Not let Kelsey beat you. And like I said, we have the pieces. Those two lockdown corners, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, a backup safety who can come in when Chauncey decides to go to the nickel, and a slot corner who's playing some of the best football, not just of his career, but across the league, at that position. So, like I said earlier, we match up very well with them. So, all right, we're going to look at a myriad of things across the league, not jobs. So, all right, so number one, Jonathan Gannon pulling up to some fans Championship Sunday and saying, we're going to gut these motherfuckers. He was referring to the 49ers, man. Just the gut. What? Yeah, your D coordinator coming out the woodwork saying this shit? Who would not get hyped seeing that? I was like, man, he's really showing his ass now. He's showing his personality. He's really coming out of his shell. And he put himself in this position, both negatively and positively, because he hadn't been showing the plays that he really wanted to call, saving them for the playoffs. So he unveiled himself, and I guess he also unveiled his personality, because he was a quiet, mild-mannered man before this, and now he's turned into his Super Bowl Superman alter ego, saying, "Hey, I'm just gonna put it out there, man. I don't give a fuck." I'm like, cool, that's what's up, man. I like that. So hearing him say that stuff, I hope he's around even longer than next season, but I'm thinking it's going to be another 1 year rental, so to speak, because there's no way nobody's going to try and, not try and poach him away next offseason. So, but he's decided to stay this next year, so happy to hear that. Number 2, Giant safety, Julian Love, hating on Good Morning Football. This dude don't have the fucking temerity to say that anybody could coach this Eagles football team, because he doesn't like Nick Sirianni and the way he's bolstered. Hey, you don't like it? Stop it. Shut him up for good. Not killing him. I'm talking about killing him on the football field. Yeah, you're jealous. You're a hater. Nobody supports you like a hater. Like, I mean, yes, he was asked a question by the crew there, but like, you didn't do yourself any favors. You just look like you were just mad and jealous. That's it. That's all that comes across and smacks of. Like, saying that anybody can coach you. That's not true. It's not true. So why say something like that when you it's not true? Because you are looking like Drake. I mean, yeah, she kind of looks like Drake, but you sound like Drake too, because you're in your fucking feelings. Yeah. I mean, just say what it is, that you're mad you couldn't stop him. All right, number 3, Aaron Siposs practicing. So his practice window has been open. You have 21 days to activate him, and it couldn't have come sooner. He got injured in the Saints game when he went for a punt, and it looked like we were going to block it, so he pulled it down and actually tried to run for the first down. He almost got it, and he injured himself in the process. We had to bring in Brett Kern, a 15-year veteran who has been average to solid in some points, but he shorted some kicks last week, and then in the weeks leading up to the Super Bowl as well. So I can't be happier to get Aaron Siposs back, and it's not that like I said, Brett Kern wasn't horrible, but Aaron Siposs just was handling his kicking job at an above average level. He's giving us some good yardage there, pinning them inside the 20. And just taking care of that the job there. So it's not a huge job and not a huge focus, but you want better than what Brett Kern was providing. So Aaron Siposs gives us that, and I'm happy to have him back. But I still hope they give Brett Kern a ring, just because he did contribute. So mentioned this one earlier, but McCole Hardman, he's doubtful to play. Andy Reid said he doubts that he'll be able to make the game. But we'll see, maybe, get shot up, and not in a bad way. Get that cortisone so he can try and play and get that ring, personally playing for it. But, I'll trust the word of the coach, unless he's playing mind games. But, who knows? All right, last thing we'll get to see today is the 49ers at the forefront to push for an emergency quarterback loophole. So currently, if your starting quarterback and the backup play, they both see action. You cannot play an emergency quarterback, and that's just this rule was enacted a couple years ago, a while ago, and it just hurts the chances because if you dress, you can't dress. I mean, you'd have to dress a third quarterback, and that will cost you a roster spot. But so they want the loophole that you can, in the event that both guys get injured, you can bring in another guy, but they won't count as a roster spot. And I'm like, I'd have to look at it a little bit more deeper to see the true advantage. But I don't know. Like I think they really support it because it happened to them. So a lot of causes be getting funded and getting support because people experience it firsthand, and then they want to shift things. But I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it right now. Before this video, I was like, I'm against it. Then I was like, oh, for it. But then I'm like, I don't know where I stand on it. Because it's about the competitive advantage. And when John Lynch brought in about, it being able to give them an added advantage, and then across the league, people have to copycat it because, it naturally, if it gets enacted, everyone's going to start doing it, and then it'll just become an advantage. But I'm like, the benefits to all, one, by way of one, it benefits, all. I'm like, but why you even started to think like this? Would you have thought about this before? I don't think so. So I'm like, I don't know about it. But yeah, not to end the video on a murky point, but we're gonna get up out of here, and I don't know, video tomorrow, but we'll see. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.